What if the happiest ending you ever saw was not the real ending, but only the beginning of a story that life slowly changed? Years pass, people grow older, dreams change, and sometimes love becomes a memory you carry quietly instead of a life you live. Everyone remembers the fairy tale, the smile, the promise that felt forever. But forever is not always simple. Sometimes love waits. Sometimes it gets lost. And sometimes it comes back when you least expect it. The city of Beverly Hills looks just as beautiful as it once did, shining under golden sunlight and glowing lights at night, but time has moved forward. The places that once held laughter now feel calmer, almost distant, like echoes from another life. The world has changed, and so have the people who once believed their story had reached a perfect ending. Success, comfort, and luxury surround them, yet something important feels missing. The silence between busy moments has grown louder, reminding them that happiness is not always found in wealth or achievement. Vivian lives a life that many would admire. She is confident, respected, and strong in ways she'd never imagined before. She spends her days helping others find new chances, guiding women who feel lost, just like she once did. Her smile is warm, but behind it is a quiet strength built from years of learning how to stand on her own. She has created a life filled with purpose, yet late at night, when everything becomes still, memories return without warning. Certain songs, certain streets, certain small moments remind her of a time when love felt simple and fearless. Edward, on the other hand, has built an empire even greater than before. His name carries power, and his decisions shape the business world around him. Meetings fill his days, and success follows every step he takes. Yet the excitement he once felt is gone. The large rooms he walks through feel empty despite being filled with people. Conversations sound distant, and celebrations feel routine. Somewhere along the way, ambition replaced emotion, and he begins to realize that winning in business does not always mean winning in life. Both of them have moved forward, yet neither has truly moved on. Their past is not something they talk about, but it lives quietly inside them, shaping their choices without them noticing. The world believes their story ended long ago, like a perfect chapter closed forever. But deep down, there are questions that were never answered, words that were never spoken, and feelings that never fully disappeared. As the camera of life keeps moving forward, fate slowly begins to shift again. Small coincidences start to appear, moments that feel too meaningful to ignore. The distance between two separate lives begins to shrink without either of them realizing it. And somewhere between memory and destiny, a story that once felt complete prepares to sometimes life, gives people everything they once wished for, yet still leaves one empty space that nothing else can fill. After years of living separate lives, both Vivian and Edward begin to understand that time does not erase real feelings. It only hides them beneath responsibility, pride, and fear. The closer they come to facing each other again, the harder it becomes to ignore the truth they have both avoided for so long. This is no longer about a perfect fairy tale or a grand romantic dream. It is about two people who have lived, failed, learned, and changed. Now standing at a moment where honesty matters more than comfort, Vivian has spent years building a strong life on her own terms. She learned how to protect her heart, how to make decisions without depending on anyone, and how to believe in her own worth. But strength sometimes comes with loneliness. She begins to realize that independence does not mean shutting the door on love forever. Memories she once tried to leave behind now feel softer, warmer, almost inviting her to look at the past with new understanding instead of pain. She wonders if people truly get a second chance, or if reopening old feelings only risks breaking the heart again. Edward faces a different struggle. For the first time in many years, success no longer feels enough. The things he once chased now seem small compared to the moments he lost. Regret grows quietly inside him, not loud or dramatic, but steady and real. He understands that love cannot be controlled like business deals. It requires vulnerability, something he avoided for too long. The thought of seeing Vivian again fills him with both hope and fear, because this time he knows there may not be another opportunity. He fails to speak from the heart. As their paths finally cross again, there is no dramatic rush, no perfect words waiting to be spoken. Instead, there is silence, the kind filled with shared history and emotions too deep to explain quickly. They look at each other not as the people they once were, but as strangers who still recognize something familiar in each other's eyes. Time has changed them, softened them, and made them understand what truly matters. The past no longer feels like a mistake. It feels like a lesson that brought them back to this exact moment, just when it seems they might finally find their way back. Dive creates one last obstacle. A sudden decision, an unexpected responsibility, threatens to pull them apart again before anything can truly begin. The fear of losing each other returns stronger than ever. Vivian must decide whether she is brave enough to trust love again, and Edward must prove that he is no longer the man who hides behind success. This moment becomes their true test, not whether they loved each other once, but whether they are willing to fight for love now. In the final moments, everything slows down. Edward arrives with uncertainty instead of confidence. No grand gestures, no promises of perfection, only honesty. He stands there knowing that love cannot be bought or planned. It can only be offered. Vivian faces a choice that feels both terrifying and beautiful. The years between them disappear for a brief second as emotion replaces doubt. The future remains unknown, but for the first time, both of them are ready to face it together or accept goodbye if that is what destiny decides. The story closes not with certainty, with hope. A door opens, and before the audience can see what happens next, the screen fades into darkness. The feeling left behind is simple, yet powerful. Some love stories are not about perfect endings, but about courage. The courage to try again, to forgive the past, and to believe that even after time changes everything, two hearts can still find their way back, open again, not as the same fairy tale, but as something deeper, wiser, and more real.